In my last video on this channel, we talked about Shane Waldron and the Seahawks' new run game. In this video, we're going to talk about the pass game. We're going to talk about how Waldron builds his play-action passing game based on those runs, and how Russell Wilson fits in this new scheme. To start this breakdown, one of the key things you need to understand is how outside zone, mid-zone, weak, and duo are all used to create big plays in the passing game. Many of the Rams' biggest passes over the last few seasons have come off of play action. If you look across the NFL, the Rams were top 3 in their usage of play action. Now, they were only 19th in yards per attempt on those throws, but a betting man would argue that the quarterback was the main reason for this. Jared Goff, who was really good back in 2018, hasn't been as good since. While this may be the case, the one consistent thing I kept seeing on film is just how effective these plays can really be. Even if you don't have the elite offensive line that the Rams did for most of the last few seasons, you can still be pretty effective running a lot of these plays. For example, one of the Rams' most used concepts is a play called glance. This has been a staple of this offense for the last couple years. I bet you we're going to see a lot more of it next season. Out of single back, the Rams are lining up with their strength of the field side. They're in 11 personnel and they're using that condensed split that I talked about in my last video. This is a fundamental thing you need to pay attention to. It really helps this offense. It gives the receivers easier inside releases and helps them out-leverage their cornerbacks immediately after the snap. As I mentioned a moment ago, the Rams are running a glance concept on this one. A glance route, or a strike route in the Rams terminology, is essentially just a backside skinny post. Depending on how the cornerbacks play the stem, the receivers can choose how to adjust their route. He can bend inside like a dig if the cornerback is playing over the top, and he can continue on the skinny post if the corner is staying in rhythm. On this one, the defender was playing with outside leverage in cover 3, so the receiver correctly broke inside. This is what gave him a clear throw for the quarterback. Now, if this receiver isn't open, then the quarterback can then work to the other side of the field. The other receiver is running a bench route. This is a great route one-on-one in these situations, and it's also good at finding space between zones. For the Seahawks, I expect DK to run the glance at the bottom, while I expect Lockett to run the bench route at the top. Honestly, both will work, but Metcalf at the bottom does offer other advantages. He can fit inside on the mid-zone runs, and he can also play as that crack blocker if they end up running toss. Now, I didn't talk about that latter play in my last video, but it is something the Rams like, so I do expect the Seahawks to do the same. Before we move on from this play, I want you to pay close attention to the play action portion of the snap. The Rams are running this exactly like how they run outside zone. The running back is angling towards the tight end, which is causing the defensive line to shift in that direction. Then, with the tight end stiff blocking to the backside and the receiver running a jet sweep, this fake is causing a lot of problems. The linebackers see this action and they want to stop the run, so they step forward. This is a big reason why there's so much space wide open in the middle of the field. Additionally, I just love how quickly Goff got rid of the ball. By his 5th step, he's already throwing it to his receiver. For a team like the Seahawks, who have used a lot of deep play action in the past where Wilson was standing at 10 yards beyond the line of scrimmage, this is really good to see. These half-boot plays will protect him to make these throws, and it'll also give the receivers a much better chance of getting open. Now, before we move on to talk about the quick game, I want to give a huge shout out to HelloFresh for sponsoring this week's video. HelloFresh is here to make eating better and easier. No grocery stores, no stressful meal planning, just everything you need to prepare a wholesome and delicious meal all delivered to your door. I honestly have no idea why I've waited so long to try it, but trust me, it was definitely worth it. This week, my wife and I tried the beef bulgogi bowls, and they were mouth-watering good. The produce was fresh and had a ton of flavor, the meat was portioned perfectly with plenty for both to share, and the recipe was so easy to follow and made the entire experience effortless. All their meals, just like this one, could be finished in just about 30 minutes. Now, not only was everything delicious and easy, but what honestly took the experience to the next level was just how flexible they were for my lifestyle. You can easily change your delivery days, you can add extra dinners or lunches to your orders, and in general, HelloFresh just makes the process so simple that I strongly recommend giving it a try. If you go to HelloFresh.com and use my code 10GOLD, you can get 10 free meals including free shipping. Again, go to HelloFresh.com and use my code 10GOLD, and you'll get 10 free meals including free shipping. Alright, now let's get back to the breakdown. The next thing I want to talk about is the quick game. This part of McVay's offense isn't as big as I originally thought. They use a few main concepts like spacing, slants, and stick, and they basically recycle those plays over and over again using a variety of formations and looks. While the pure breadth of quick game isn't as big in this offense, those plays do give quick and easy throws to the quarterback. It's a very simple process where you take it if you can, live to find another down if you can't, and that's what's good for Wilson. Wilson is objectively not the best at quick game, but he's obviously not the worst either. He's roughly average, and I think these plays and the way the Rams set them up can still be his friend. For this video, the main one I want to talk about is the two-man stick concept called Omaha. The idea of this play is that it puts a flat defender in a bind. Depending on his leverage, the quarterback will then make a decision. Basically, his goal is to choose a side pre-snap, read that leverage, and then throw it to the open receiver underneath. After initially lining up in single back, the Rams motioned Robert Woods to the other side. They then shifted formations into shotgun. Since the defense had 5 men on the line of scrimmage and an overhang defender on the left creeping forward, Goff kept the running back at home to help with pass blocking. The defense ended up blitzing, so this was a good call. Carlos Dunlap at the bottom of your screen actually became the flat defender in this one. He pressed the tight end and he shut down his route. While that did happen, since the cornerback was playing with off leverage covering the deep third of the defense, this created a huge opening by the sideline. All Goff had to do was throw a catchable pass, and this is a quick first down conversion. Now, not all these plays will be this easy. However, the reason why I like Omaha is that it features these 2 quick out routes. This fits the personnel the Seahawks already have. I made the point in my last video that Seahawks do need another tight end, and I still think that's the case. However, stick is a very good concept regardless. It's already something that Russell Wilson has run in the past, and I expect to see more of it in the future. Outside of quick game, there are a number of concepts that the Rams like using in their 5-step and 7-step passing game. I saw a lot of sail, I saw a lot of dagger, I saw a lot of 3-level high-low reads, and I also saw shallow cross. Shallow cross has been a staple of this offense since McVay took over. It works really well with the condensed splits the Rams use. Let's look at an example closely. The Rams are lining up an empty set shotgun with the trips bunch on the left. Meanwhile, at the bottom of your screen, you have 2 receivers in a slot look. Starting with them, they are running a smash concept, which is great against a 2-high safety defense. Smash was a very common backside concept for the Rams in 2020. It does a great job of creating a high-low read on the defender at the bottom of your screen. If the Seahawks were playing cover 2 or cover 4, this is where Goff would look. However, since the Seahawks have a single high safety deep, his focus will be at the top of your screen. That's exactly where he looked. These receivers are running a shallow cross concept called H-post. What happens is that the outside receiver will run a drag, while the inside receiver will run a delayed post route in order to beat the leverage defender. Since many defenses, including the Seahawks, will play banjo coverage against a bunch in this situation, this is a great call. Banjo coverage, if you don't know, is where the outside cornerback will take the outside route, while the inside cornerback will play on the inside. How they play this is why the H-post ends up getting open. Kupp can win back inside simply based on leverage. Now, while all this is happening, the top receiver in the bunch is a tight end and he's running a fade. This is simply an alert throw before the snap that if he's open and Goff likes the matchup, then the ball will go deep. That's what happened on this play. KJ Wright stepped under his own coverage, and with Higbee's speed, he was able to get down the field. Goff threw it, but unfortunately for the Rams, the pass fell incomplete. Now, generally speaking, the reason why I like this scheme for Russell Wilson is because he can make all these throws. He has shown in the past that if he's given an ounce of time, that he can make that correct decision. He can deliver some excellent passes all over the field. Now in 2020, he didn't have the best second half of his season. He was overthinking simple throws, he missed open receivers by not seeing the field, and he was seeing ghosts in the pocket, which made the entire process worse. Yes, you can blame Brian Schottenheimer for a lot of what happened last year. I actually blame him a lot for how defenses completely tore apart his scheme. However, Russell Wilson was definitely at fault too. He has to play better if the Seahawks want to win. Going back to scheme though, the reason why this helps Russell Wilson is because a lot of what McVay and Waldron did was they simplified their offense. They made the system and the reads easier for the quarterback. They basically told Goff that all he really needs to do is execute, and this offense can be effective. I know I'm oversimplifying what they do, but this is a big reason why they traded for Matt Stafford. He, like Russell Wilson, can simply execute this offense much better. Now, to wrap up this video, and while I could literally spend hours talking about this scheme, it's really the combination of all the parts that we should be excited for next season. I talked about this in my last video, but the combination of tempo, the formations, the motions, but it's much more than that. It's the pairing of this offense and the passing game with the play action that gets me really excited. Even after McVay gives you clues on what he's going to do next, he'll flip it and beat you in the other direction. He'll call plays based off your tendencies. Plus, when you add in Russell Wilson's insane ability to create plays off script, and I really do think we have a good pairing. Well, that's all I have for you. I just want to say thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you think below in the comments. Again, this is my second video and we're in front of the camera, so I really appreciate any feedback you may have. Thanks again, and you can find me on Twitter at Samuel R. Gold.